Yeah, thank you very much, Zoe. Glad that she's hoping everyone else has fun. I am actually here with the king of the participation award. It's Matthew Morello.
I'm the king of fun. That's me.
Is that your? That is your. I've been trying to figure out what your official Blizzard title is up until now, but I think we've got it.
King of fun.
Yeah, you didn't get approved for King of Stuff, but King of Fun seems pretty accurate. Matt, tell me, before we jump in, Dante on Doomfist, we expect to see that to be a common theme for the Outlaws. I think it's one of the biggest standout things from that team, and maybe like Atlanta, they might just commit to that style and just push it as far as they can.
Yeah, it's also, I think, like in this kind of new world of 5v5 and like how some of the tanks already worked, right? With like Orisa and Doomfist, like they don't really play like traditional tanks. Like it's just kind of like the name of the role, right? They play definitely more like brawlers, and you kind of have like some heroes in there that like have like really high skill ceilings and stuff, and you know, maybe you can start to see some of like DPS players like Dante, right? Like I think like, I mean, this is ages ago, we've seen Dante play like some diva like in like the way past.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like, you know, maybe you start to see some of these players who, you know, who are able to flex into some of these roles, be able to pick up this tank role, this new tank role. It's not really kind of like the off tank or the main tank from Overwatch 1. It's a completely different thing.
Yeah, and really participates in terms of the damage dealing in a real and very visceral way up there with the other damage dealers. Right, well, this team was dealt damage in their last matchup, of course, against the Washington Justice, where it was kind of sort of teased out a bit that, you know, Hisu and Finale had a pretty tough matchup against those Justice DPS players, right? Finale looked generally really good on the Genji especially, right? It's great to see that this team has some options, and that projectile DPS role looks very solid. And we know that Hisu was touted to be the second coming of Carpe back when he was on that Philadelphia roster, right? Hisu's probably grown into something of his own, right? And probably is still growing into something of his own right now. But again, he has to deal with like another insane DPS lineup. Muse, I felt really led from the front in the sort of the Defiant's last match. And, you know, talking to Deepay in the call, obviously someone who sort of worked with him back on the Gladiators, Muse always wanted to go first, to be the aggressor, to be the instigator. Deepay said that he was often sort of, you know, in a tug of war with his coach on sort of how he wanted to sort of play. So if he's let off the chain a bit more here, the Defiant might be sort of the ones being proactive, starting off these fights. And I mean, I haven't got to talk about the backline here as well, but Chorong and Twilight seem to be gelling pretty well so far. Not a great start, Matt, but it's okay. Let's talk this Outlaws team.
Yeah, you know, Pelican merit in terms of DPS, right? You have Pelican from the Atlanta Reign, Dante in that tank role, and I really like the support lineup. I feel like, you know, as we've kind of seen a lot of these teams move to having two like supports at times, right? And, you know, kind of somebody picking up the other role, like seeing, you know, a Lastro and Iris. Well, what was the new pronunciation that I heard of that?
It's Iris now. It's Iris.
Iris, right? So we've graduated from ZP's LR15 to Iris. Somewhere in between there, we call them Iris.
It's almost like a designation for those Omnic robots that Orisa was based on. I think they were.
Oh yeah, if you would have told me the push button on LR15, I'd have been like, oh yeah, sure.
Iris now. So bear with us, obviously, as we sort of add that to our vernacular. But if you're an Outlaws fan, your vernacular lately has been ye freaking ha, because this team is.
You just hope. I mean, for the Outlaws fans out there, I feel like we do this every season. You know, they start off. They look good.
Season 1, man.
Is this the Outlaws time? And then all of a sudden,
okay.
Not that time.
I'm glad you brought it up, because this team obviously had that incredible matchup against the Shock last year in week 1, right? With the Jungkook shatter that like was heard around the world, yada yada. And they weren't able to really maintain that sort of excellence across the year.
I do feel like this team though is like significantly leveled up in terms of talent, like compared to previous years.
Best they've ever had.
I feel like they've kind of they've graduated over times in terms of like they definitely upgraded. I think in talent each year may not have like resulted in the best of, you know, records or whatnot, but this is I think without a doubt. I mean, you can even say it for both of these organizations, right? Both their best rosters they've ever fielded in the Overwatch League.
No doubt about it. Houston really went all in, excuse the pun, to create their most powerful roster yet. The same, though, could be said of Toronto Defiant. Maybe they're hoping to sort of start a campaign where they get this notion out of people's heads that they're a mid-table team. They go 500. They're, you know, good against the bad teams, bad against the good ones. Toronto really need to sort of break that mold they've been heavily cast into so far. But hey, no shock here, Matt, to see Dante on the Doomfist. Good opening here. Finale is brought down by Lastro. There's that trademark aggression already playing out.
And you talk about like the ultimate disruptor, Doomfist in the tank role. Not able to just kind of finish players off with that one punch anymore, but still able to get in and just cause so many issues. And then obviously as he's connecting with abilities, gaining shields, you see Dante's fist lining up, so he's got one of those, you know, boosted up punches. Great.
Oh my god, he gets double stunned with it! That's filthy! Chorong almost gets splattered up against the wall there. The Defiant are able to recover from that. Point gets flipped to the Outlaws in the meantime. And then Biotic Grenade slows Houston down, Matt. But Merritt, he's looking for an off angle here to make his way in.
Dante using the power block. It'll be Merritt TPing in, trying to put some pressure on Hisu.
We'll see Muse there going to be able to take down Iris. Not bad from Merritt. They're able to get in and sort of cause a lot of problems. But Finale, nano boosted here. Looking for Lastro, but Finale, even with the nano boost, still a little afraid to get too close.
Yeah, so they do flip it. You have Merritt here behind enemy lines. He might be able to make it out. He's going to have Iris with a line of sight on him. A nice biotic grenade there from Twilight as you're able to deal with that Reaper. Buys you a little bit more time for the Defiant on the point. So they'll get closer to taking the lead.
Pretty frustrating for Dante here to try and limit Finale's mobility. Obviously, Doomfist never really has the easiest time keep drawing a bead on the Tracer, let alone actually interacting with her directly. Pulse, good stick, and Iris is down. Great start to the fight, but Dante responds, and both teams are missing their honors. Meteor Strike here for Dante, so we can play a little bit more aggressively than he otherwise would have. That is some silky smooth mechanics, my guy. Unreal.
Just see it, they don't even need that much healing if you're the Outlaws, right? Like you end up trading the Ana for Ana, but you have Pelican who ends up using the duplicate, right? They're able to just get right into the body of the Soldier 76 there, and then Dante just building up these shields as he's going in, causing problems. The Toronto Defiant do take the lead there though, Mitch. So they do build up a little bit of a lead here. You'll have Hisu coming in with his tack visor. It's just the Outlaws have so many more ultimates to work with.
Yeah, maybe Pelican just gets a nano boost here, having switched over towards the Echo. Maybe just an instant kill on one of those backliners in the absence of a sound barrier for Chorong. There's the dive from Muse. Merritt straight to the backline as you might expect, and there it is. Burns down with the beam. It's a nano boost for Merritt instead though, but he's definitely earned his stripes here. Will chase Muse away, and I mean chase. He ain't giving up on this one. Gets rid of the Winston. Now the Outlaws, they take some steps and get in the lead.
Yeah, and Hisu ends up using his tack visor there as he gets dove on by 3 players, it looks like. So you see, Dante goes in and actually punches him back towards the rest of his team and gets high merit. So nice play there from Dante. So the Tracer from Finale has been impactful, but it hasn't been impactful enough to turn the tides.
Gave them that lead early on. Since then, probably with the switch by Pelican, Finale hasn't really been able to have the same impact here. Dante brought down though, Muse able just to follow up and finish off the Doomfist. Yeah, Pelican's so frustrating in this position. Able to laser Muse down, and there'll be some stall here from Lastro. Back to spawn for him, but the Outlaws with a healthy lead and a 1-fight buffer.
Yeah, and they saved all their ultimates. As soon as they lost Iris, they decide to save Meteor Strike, save Pulse Bomb, as Finale has to be low. You know, the Reaper can burn down Tracer pretty fast in that type of close quarter engagement, but can he get behind and try and take out this Ana yet again?
Muse can't get to the backline there. Lastro is able to stave him off with the boop and Merritt. Okay, big punish on Muse. He's very, very low, and Twilight gets taken down by Dante here. Hisu has nowhere to go, no room to work with. In fact, as Merritt had already had himself set up to pressure him down, Chorong has to get out here because if the Defiant gets staggered, it could be all over. That's devastating. Chorong has to get off the point. Outlaws have it. We do get overtime triggered at least by that Lucio lingering. The Pelican dupes a Tracer, and a throwaway Pulse Bomb is in order.
So the Outlaws take first round here on Lijiang Tower. Not an easy game though. Toronto definitely came to play here at the early onset, as the Outlaws are just really good playing around this Dante Doomfist. Really no need for him to switch off to anything else. I think they'll just kind of keep on the Doom, as Doom was kind of like talked about early on. It's like one of the tanks that a lot of players thought was going to get a ton of play in Owl. We really just seen the Outlaws, and then the Atlanta Rain playing around Hawk, as he's really picked up the role quite nicely. Both look really good utilizing his kit.
Look, I think when you satisfy those power block conditions, you know, he is so devastating in the kind of destruction that he can sort of achieve. Yeah. That multi knockback and stun is, I mean, it's the stuff
just chaining these abilities together, and it's so difficult.
The displacement's also frustrating for Muse. It's not just the Lucio, but the Doom now knocking him around.
Oh, Yisu looked like he was going to be able to stay on. Doesn't matter, though, that he gets finished off by Merit with some help from Lastro.
Chorong should be able to get away with this one. Pelican, though, with the focusing being from behind. Okay, Merit knocked off the map there. So the Outlaws are trying to delay the first cap, potentially. It was only 2 players there. They're hoping to make something happen. You gotta believe, I guess, but it will be the Defiant early control. Finale looks not impressed.
Yeah, so we'll see how they go about trying to take this back with that Doomfist setup, as we've seen tons of teams be able to hold with the composition that the Toronto Defiant are playing right now. You see right over the top the Doomfist, the big slam, and then the damage from Pelican over the top.
Yeah, hitting those sticky bombs, man, a little bit easier when your target is suspended in the air. Nice connection again from Pelican. What a menace this guy is. The curtain gets brought down on Finale, and now Muse has nowhere to go.
It's so difficult as well. It's something you deal with in Overwatch a little bit, but dealing with like players in multiple kind of like spaces of verticality, right, at the same time, because you had Dante and Pelican coming flying like right above you, but when you look up to them, you kind of lose Merit on your screen at all times. Same with like Iris, right? So you can't kind of just like avoid looking up, because then you're just going to get like pummeled from up high. Makes it really difficult for any FPS player to deal with.
Okay, Outlaws backing up there for a moment. Maybe a little concerned about exactly this. Yep, that's a beautiful knockoff. That'll be 2. Muse. Oh, it's the king of the jungle. He's causing all sorts of problems. Sound barrier is going to come out here, but it's only Dante and Lastro that benefit from it, and I'll be honest with you, they are in trouble themselves. Duplicate here from Pelican, copies the Yana, gets the kill, but the blade here for Finale to try and seal the deal. Lovely opener there from Muse. I'm surprised it took so much more for the Defiant to secure this.
Yeah, I was going to say, probably a little bit more than they would have liked to end up securing the point, as the Outlaws, they dump a bunch of ultimates into it as well. So coming in the next fight, it'll be attack visor for both Soldier 76s, and that'll be it across the board. So Finale makes a switch, no longer playing the Genji, going to go over to the Tracer.
What do you make of this? Why does he opt for this Tracer here again?
You don't have Blade at this moment in time. You can build up that pulse bomb a little bit faster. Also, the recall, get out of harm's way. I mean, yeah, just be able to just come from behind and just destroy the soldier like that. So I mean, nothing from Merit's visor, yeah.
He's pretty safe, at a cursory glance. He's ulting from the safety of his biotic field. But there's so many sources of damage that just blast through any of that healing.
Yeah. There's only so much healing that biotic field can do. So we'll see how the Outlaws trying to approach it. So you see the Soldier kind of going with the Lucio around the opposite side, as Finale can hear them, knows that they've gone in. Now he can be aggressive on the Tracer.
Big hit from Finale. There might have been a Helix rocket.
Yeah.
Yep, fired off by Merit, but he's going to be knocked off the map. With the bionic grenade on Finale, he doesn't mind, because I think that was a double there. Chorong and Twilight. Looks like there isn't a better love story than that right now. Lovely work. And now, look, I mean, so the Outlaws are in deep trouble, Matt.
Yeah, so this is what's interesting. It's like if you're the Outlaws and you can't make things work with this Doomfist setup, and I actually just don't even think like it's really the Doomfist here. I think it's just kind of like the Toronto Defiant just playing their composition really well. It's almost like perfection here towards the second half of this round. But if you needed to switch off the Doomfist and you don't feel it's great, what do you go to if you're the Outlaws? It'd be really interesting to see if they're forced to switch. But this fight's still going on. It's going to be a sound barrier here from the Defiant.
Lastro, insane stuff. He kept this fight going, but the sound barrier for the Toronto Defiant helps them snag that kill on Merit. Pelican, that's not your bubble, son. You can't be healed inside of that. He was off to the point regardless, though, and the Defiant show us a much stronger look than we saw in round number 1. And in fact, it was the Outlaws who looked to be floundering a little bit.
Yeah, so we'll see as this one goes down to the wire here. What do the Outlaws decide to do? Did you play the same exact thing? A point like this, maybe you can make use of like that Zarya composition with like the Reaper in the mix, but looks like they'll stay with the Doom yet again. Is that Doom can still cause a lot of problems. I mean, you see there at the point there with just the 4 walls. It's like a perfect setup for Doomfist.
Despite the fact that Hisu honestly had a pretty quiet round there. Muse was actually the one that really stepped up in the damage dealing department for Toronto. Getting a lot of value out of that Winston here. We'll see Finale start on the Genji once more. So it seems like the Tracer is like a mid-round switch maybe after you've used that first blade and don't feel like you're getting any value. Maybe it's just a comfort thing.
The Tracer's also pretty good against the Echo, right? Like, Echo's pretty good against, like, Genji and whatnot, but the Tracer makes it a little bit tougher for that Echo, as you see it'll be Pelican taken out by Chorong there, as lost Dante right at the start, so can you even contest this if you're the Outlaws?
Oh, no way.
Yeah, they
Pelican
go to the Tracer straight away. As soon as Pelican picks up that first kill on the finale on the Genji, they switch right off of it to the Tracer.
Now, our friend Dennis Matz from the Boston Uprising sort of shared this idea that now in Overwatch 2, I mean, 25% of the time, you're 25% less likely to win a fight short-handed than you were in Overwatch 1.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, you see what it's done here, right? The Outlaws, they didn't get that first pick on the first fight. Dante just trying to use the power block to stay up, playing so much it can absorb. That first fight, though, gives the Defiant a 27%. The Outlaws get that first pick up here in the next one, and they're able to flip it right back. So you do see how impactful winning that, getting that first blood, right, in like an opening engagement. Is big bio grenade there, going to connect with two. Oh.
Living on the edges, Iris. Well, excuse me. Nice biotic grenade, though. That definitely threw a spanner in the works for the Toronto Defiant. Twilight also not able to be healed right now, and Dante flattens him in midair. Quite the test dummy collision, but there's not much he can do with the power block against attack visor. 90% damage decrease is pretty good, but he still had plenty damage and more, getting taken down there by a direct hit by Merit. Sticky bombs on Muse right now. He'll struggle to escape if he gets a focusing beam here, but it looks like Pelican not in a position to trade that damage back.
Yeah, are they in a position to try and, the Outlaws trying to make a play for the point here. You have like 3 players in the back. That'll be Lasher using Sound Barrier, as you have Pelican coming back into the fight. So they're going to make their way to the point and potentially flip it here.
Yeah, Chorong, there's no way he would have gone for that beat anyway. He was just a little bit late on it, but beautiful stuff from Merit. Attack visor connects here, and the Outlaws able to sneak back onto the point, but they are considerably behind the 8 ball here.
Yeah, and you're in a pretty good position for the Defiant, right? You can use your Sound Barrier offensively, give everybody that overhealth, and then just pick a target, dive, and if you burn that player down, you feel like you're in a good spot to flip this point, potentially take this map number 1.
Sound barrier that Chorong was holding on to might be the key here, but that binding grenade, okay, great response. He was feeling a little bit threatened here. Maybe not a full commitment from the Outlaws, though, but they're able to get Dante as he tries to sneak away. Not a good start for Houston now. Short-handed in this fight, and the Defiant are already taking a strong position onto the point. No one's going to really stop them here, so Toronto, for 1 pick, get control back.
Iris will have a nano here. Could you decide to use it on? Is it like Dante? Is it Merit on the side? It looks like it might be Merit, the way they're moving right now.
Dante's getting picked off so early in these fights. Twilight, it's one. Actually one! And they can't follow up on it. Big window, big opportunity there for the Outlaws. It goes begging, but Twilight eventually is snapped up. Merit needs to make this work right now. Facing down Chorong with that nano boost, and Muse out of position and a little bit low here. 99 and counting, though. Was anyone for the Outlaws on the point? No! They've let it go! They've let it go, the Outlaws, as they fall in this first map of the series. Toronto, what a bounce back from that first round.
Yeah, as once kind of space opens up and Toronto able to make really good use out of the Soldier 76, and then Finale, I think, switching over to the Tracer, really effective against the Echo, definitely made a difference.
And of course, we had to wonder, this Doomfist, just how deadly is it? Dante running out of rope there towards the end of the map. I actually think that by the end of the Outlaws had more kills than the Toronto Defiant. They just couldn't convert those into point percentage. All right, salty run back might well be on the menu. Stick around, as map number 2 ain't far away. Minor correction, both of these teams had an equal number of kills on that first map at Lijiang Tower. 38 plays 38. And yet the Defiant were able to squeeze out an extra round win. And obviously that last round was scrappy, but Toronto definitely felt like they had it under control for much of the time. A good start for, I mean, it's early in the season, but definitely the team considered the underdog here as the Outlaws fizzle a little bit after their hot start against the Fuel.
Yeah, no subs for either team, so you expect the Outlaws to go with a pretty similar comp as we go into the next map. It will be King's Row. Do you decide to maybe change up like that DPS lineup, right? Like, I think Finale switching over to the Tracer definitely gave the Echo a little bit more problems, right? Because now you're dealing with the damage of like a Tracer who's a little bit harder to get to and access like a Genji and a little bit more survivability, right, with recall. In the 76. Do you decide to make some changes there? Because in terms of tank, it seems like you'll continue to run the Doomfist.
Yeah, obviously we saw some teams earlier today, in that sort of Vancouver matchup, prefer to sort of go for Reinhardt setup. So obviously we kind of know, that London like to play that way in general here, but teams sometimes favouring just the ability to have a shield tank through these chokes. I think it's safe to say that sort of seeing the more aggressive dive-based comps, not anything out of the ordinary, and we're being trolled right now by Muse. Thank you. Nope. Very cool.
Yeah. Toronto, they come out with the Tracer straight away. They're not even going to try the Genji here at the start. So have the Tracer be a little bit of a better dive, buddy with Winston. Muse and Finale getting back there, but also I think really making it much harder on Pelican. We'll see what Pelican and Merit decide to play if we continue going with this Echo 76.
And Merit, obviously, exciting prospect because he's such a flexible player, really. Often, working around Proper in times gone by. That O2 Blast team were just sort of playing what needed to be done while we sort of saw Proper on these high-impact, sort of higher-risk picks. See him on the Soldier 76 here, not a huge surprise. The Outlaws still trying to go with the Echo here as Pelican looks to jump on in there and find an insta-kill if he can.
So you see Dante just kind of go up to the high ground, try and slam right on top of the 76, put some more pressure on. But you see just how fast 76 can get out of the way. It's right now. If he's on the low ground, he's ending up on the high ground. He's just doing a nice job with dodging Dante.
Yep, Finale taken down there. Looks like he was trying to harry Iris, but Lastro was there on interference and have actually find that elimination. I mean, meanwhile, we saw Dante essentially playing, rather solo, trying to set at least something up for Pelican to dive in and find that extra bit of damage there. The Outlaws, very scrappy, quite chaotic here, but they are the ones that prevail.
Yeah, it's a big disruption from Dante, able to get to that high ground, but really, Lastro doing a really nice job on the Lucio, able to help,
Two final
stay
blows
alive, and then, also be able to pick up the Tracers. So, take a look at this, Nice kill.
Beautiful.
And that says he's trying to get inside with Muse as they're trying to track down Pelican, so pretty big pickup there.
I think even Lastro's detractors have to admit they're pretty impressed by his sort of main, quote-unquote, main support play so far after him sort of moving off of his previous role. That trademark aggression, though, still there in spades, and it's exactly what the Outlaws want to dissuade anyone from getting too close to that backline. How do we play through the choke here? Finale's definitely hunting.
Yeah, he's trying to find somebody. Maybe just trying to, bait some action from Pelican up here, but I imagine, you may even consider using the Nano on Pelican, try and keep him alive. Yeah, so they are going to use the Nano boost on the Pelican. He's going to be able to take down Jaro so fast. So the damage output from Echo, and then also when you, fly on Echo, get up in the air, you just get a lot of momentum, right? You're able to get up there so fast and just get in people's faces. A lot of times even before they expect.
Yeah, I mean, you're either part of the dive mat or you're your own arm of the pincer, right? As soon as someone like Dante goes in and you sort of spot that backline, you're like, hey, there's an insta kill here. I can just blow my cooldowns on one person and just remove them from the fight. Remember, it's much harder to win a fight when you're short-handed in Overwatch 2 compared to Overwatch 1, and Pelican is really just there to get that early numbers advantage and sort of start to pressure it.
There's that many better things than focusing beam, right? To burst down a target when they're low.
Especially when healing is lower, right?
Yep.
Okay. Hisu, that's going to get into a power block here, so Hisu just needs to get around Dante in that front line, and he has limited success in doing so. Dante's able to get out of trouble there. Meteor Strike. He's actually able to get rid of Chorong as Merit now has a chance to go for the attack visor. The ult cycling for the Houston Outlaws looks much more effective so far, and Muse has got nowhere to go. Hunted down by Merit.
Yeah, Yeah, you see the difference now. They're able to keep nice shots there with the Helix to finish it off, and they're able to keep Pelican alive, and he's able to put down the damage that we know Echo can. Lastro and Iris doing a much better job, I feel like, on King's Row now than on Lijiang Tower, and Finale, he'll go over to Genji. There's a lot of high ground here you want to contest, so not surprised to see the Genji switch. I don't think it's like any kind of concession that like the Tracer wasn't working or whatnot. I think you just want to be able to contest some of that high ground that the Doomfist is going to go for.
All right, there's the dive from Muse. Not fully committing though, and actually playing towards his team's side of his own barrier. His Dante was sort of drawn back away. Probably the effect that Muse was looking for there. Now another dive. Dante wants to pursue. And they catch Muse. He just gets blown up, Matthew. That is unreal amounts of burst damage here. Finale also was disengaging at the same time as the sound barrier came in. So the sync is a little bit off here for the Defiant.
Yeah, this is going to be a nano on the Pelican. He's able to finish off one player straight away. And yeah, the nano boost onto the Echo is just filthy. Pelican just taken over here on the offensive side. And we've seen Dante do that a few times, Mitch, where he loads up a punch and Muse goes to dive in because he assumes that Dante is obviously going to punch forward towards his team. He punches backwards right into, right into Muse as he's diving in, as he gets knocked away from the payload there with the nano boost. But really interesting use of the Doomfist because you don't know which way obviously he's going to go. Dante loads up those punches, looks like he's coming for your backline. You think it's an opportunity to dive in. He just kind of does like a 360, turns around, knocks you into a wall as you're approaching his backline. All of a sudden, a slam, and you're stunned and dead. Really interesting use there out of the Doom.
Matt, Lastro ended that round with 4 final blows, 1 death. Merit was 4-0, and Dante 4-0. So Lastro really taking it seriously. Whoever said that, supports have to step up and act as sort of damage dealers right now. Look, and it definitely seemed to suit the Outlaws because they were actually, despite being attackers, you mentioned Dante, like you don't know where he's going to go. It felt like Houston were really peel-oriented, sort of just backing up and trying to make sure Muse couldn't have easy kills. Muse is 1-4, so I mean it's safe to say that was definitely the case. Finale 0 final blows for him. So the Outlaws being able to be reactive. I mean, you know what they do while they're peeling? They send Pelican in to do this nonsense.
Yeah, I mean that first kill comes through so fast. So Charong had absolutely no ability to react.
And what's Muse trying to do there? I mean, he's trying to get rid of a Soldier 76 and a Lucio inside a Biotic field. Like, there's just nothing for him there. He'd almost rather have stayed in the backline, but you have to initiate at some point as defenders.
And you kind of have like Dante juggling you around, right? Punching you, seismic slams coming in. Ooh, that's a little risky there from Pelican.
Gisu not able to clean him up there. So Pelican not punished. But you can see he's taken a much more passive position on the point until that flight cooldown is off. And again, peel-oriented. Dante trying to be responsive, but doesn't quite get to his intended target and is hit with a biter grenade all the way. So Houston are laid low for a time. They need to be very careful these next few seconds.
Well, all of Doom's abilities are like, able to be kind of canceled by the other in Overwatch too, so you can really kind of like trick people out. Like when you're seismic slamming as the Merit takes out Isu there, it's kind of like a straight up soldier battle. You can really kind of throw players off and like where you're going and what you're trying to do on Doom now.
So hard to catch Merit when he turns tail and gets those legs pumping. He's able to pick up a health pack. Chorong was really hoping to snipe him away. And Dante cancels that punch. Okay, so the call is for the Outlaws to try and regroup a little bit here and try and contest a little later on.
That's it. They're going to try and contest. Looks like Dante actually going around. He's got a... Ooh, he had a power punch lined up. Just not able to connect with Twilight.
Yeah, I mean, and he's not able to disrupt the Defiant before the fight starts. So Toronto just get to, follow their flow chart without any real pressure. Pelican needs an insta-kill right now, but much of those sticky grenades or bombs going towards Muse, he shrugs them off. The Defiant are on the move here. Payload unlocked.
Yeah, he did get one there, Dante, but yeah, it would have been way different if, that power punch that he was loading up coming around that, flank route connected with Twilight or even connected with some of the others, because he did land a seismic slam after that. Pelican comes in, finishes one with a focusing beam, but you connect with some of those from Dante, they're probably even lower. You may be able to pick up 2 from Pelican, and then you're good to try and defend point A.
See Lastro there just interposing himself between Iris and his front line. So there's a Muse dive, punched out of it. So constant displacement you're dealing with here. And that's unfortunate. Pelican has actually slept under Nano, but Muse, well, he already hit M1 under Primal. Wakes him up.
like, what do you do? I mean, they're gaining space here around the corner. That's going to be the nano on Hisu. They does not have the attack visor. Dante is deep in the back line. Merit here trying to force to go all the way on a flank.
2 support ults for nothing, Matt. Or at least near enough to. Finale might have a chance to actually make this compelling.
He has to stay inside this bubble because he's so low. He knows that Pelican's just going to turn focusing beam him down.
Okay, let's throw it wide. Now they know he's here. Dante has to back away. So Finale staying alive and applying pressure late in the fight actually means the Outlaws have to give this ground up at the end. So that's probably best case scenario based on how the fight started.
And they lose Pelican right when he gets the ultimate. So maybe if he's able to live a little bit longer with a duplicated Muse, could have kept that going for the Outlaws.
Attack visor for Hisu, pops in straight away. Dante's behind him right now, but he's asleep. So Twilight, great job there, shutting down Doom's ability to disrupt Hisu and allows him to do what he does best, which is deal death. That's 2 for him. Dante eventually brings him down. They're going to try and stall that a little bit, but takes a face fall of damage and has to run away. Lastro thinks about it, but that biotic grenade is going to make it impossible.
All right, so Toronto, they'll take that second checkpoint. They have a ton of time here to finish the map. The Outlaws, to just remind you, they set a really fast time, completing the map with 3 minutes and 37 seconds in the bank. So it'll be tough for Toronto to match that, but still, can give themselves another shot at defense.
Yeah, much better looks here for Toronto. And they can absolutely make this a close one. Duplicate here for Pelican. Who will it be? Copy Muse maybe, go over his head in the back line. Another Ana copy. I guess maybe building up a quick nano boost seems to be quite desirable. Crazy, almost in the 180 sleep.
And the ability for 2 biotic grenades definitely is a pretty high value. Oh, here we go. It's just trying to live there, but not able to do so. Because you're capped out in how much HP you can do in terms of duplicate, right? So
copying a tank not so desirable anymore.
Well, if you do get Primal Rage, I believe you can kind of go over the cap, but getting that nano boost, another nano boost, or being able to get another biotic grenade, extra sleep dart, pretty nice.
Ana really highly valued right now. So much utility to back up, still very solid rate of healing. And this is a full-scale retreat here, excuse me. Muse with the Primal Rage now, able to turn back into the fight as Torong lets the sound barrier go. He leaps upon Pelican and rips him limb from limb. Finale's able to hold onto the blade here as well. Yes, the Defiant used both support ultimates, but they're close to the end of the map here. Finale Muse waiting for someone to peek out. It's Dante first up to the plate.
Yeah, and he gets up, gets a touch, he gets hit with the biotic grenade, but the sound barrier comes out. So he does have Meteor Strike to try and keep himself up.
Hisu in danger here, hit with a biotic grenade as well. He's 1 HP, but Finale pulls the blade finally, and he slept. Hero's going to keep his backline alive for the time being. Finale 1 HP. Dante comes in with attack visor from long range for Hisu. Can't do much about that for the Outlaws. They're forced to focus on the point. And there we go. 1 minute and 3 separating these two.
Yeah, as Hisu, I believe that's 3K there at the end with the attack visor. At that point, everybody's quite low from both teams, and he's coming up the rear, really open sight lines with the attack visor. Nothing the Outlaws could really do. They have to play out in the open to kind of contest the point. They have the Winston in their face at that moment. So Toronto does a nice shot, completes the map, gives himself another shot. 2 minutes on the clock here for the Defiant offense.
Iris leading here with 5 enemies slept so far, which is maybe less than you'd expect considering how frequently you see those abilities come up. Twilight with only 3, and yet you see both Ana players be extremely impactful in many of these fights. Lastro continuing to be the one finishing off those kills as well, but Hisu really stood up at the end of that round. He now leads at 11-7 final blows to deaths.
Yeah, no power block for Dante there. Comes right over the top, finishes everybody off. I would also say for Twilight, doesn't have a Genji or Winston to be able to sleep. Those are 2 of the biggest targets in terms of getting hit with the sleep darts right now. Doom obviously can be slept, but just the mobility and how fast he's able to get in and out makes it way harder than a Winston.
This time Pelican not so brazen about poking his head out early in the round. See him there at the Alderworth Hotel.
Oh, well, he knows him dropping first is, you're giving up that payload, and that's terrible for the Outlaws. Yeah.
Muse gets away from this though, but it is pause for thought for the Defiant. So they get their tank back in fighting shape. Sticky bombs connect here as well, and Pelican is playing mid to long range, very safe right now, just trying to get a bit of early poke damage. Twilight removed, so Dante was able to actually get into that backline and trades his life for the Ana map.
Yeah, just so much damage coming down from Hisu when he does get into the backline, and how do you contest now? If you're the Outlaws, obviously you have an advantage in terms of healing, but you have nobody who's just a big beat target to stand on the point and try and contest.
Yep, similar situation to their last defense. They sort of back away after losing a player and make their way in. A lot of respect here from the Defiant in terms of what the Outlaws can do. Chorong dicing with death, but Pelican's not able to clip him. Finale, though, is eventually removed by Lastro, while Dante sleeps it off. Muse is going to be removed by Pelican now, and he's looking at the backline. Chorong's pretty extended. He knows Twilight is within focusing beam range, but Lastro's the one that finishes the kill. This guy's unhinged. 8 final blows for him.
Yeah, and there was a big, 1v1 going down up on the high ground. Kind of see it maybe through your outlines, but Merit against Finale, and Merit put down a decent amount of damage, and Finale not able to get the ult finish off by Lastro. So Lastro doing a nice job contributing, trying to help his team finish off the Genji of Finale up the high ground. If he's able to get the 76, that's bad news.
Pelican, does he survive this? How does he survive this? Impossible. He's 1 HP and he's still standing. But Hisu makes short work of the rest of that Outlaws team. Pelican's able to snipe Finale away. But again, it's a big tactical visor play from the Soldier 76 that keeps the Defiant alive and kicking.
Yes, it should be Toronto able to take it. Looks like you got Muse still there. Chorong on the point, but they're going to be in OT the rest of the way. As Houston, they have that devastating combo. You have that nano boost onto Pelican coming up. You have attack visor, sound barrier. So Toronto had to throw everything at it to be able to take the point.
So we're in overtime now.
Right here.
Why not?
Yeah.
You don't want to get caught up in the choke so much, but you have a good little staging ground for Pelican if he can get past Finale here. Quite a few Defiant players on this high ground trying to deny it. It's a one-in, but you can't block that kind of beam. Not even with your best. Pelican scoops to Lucio. Hey, double sound barrier. Doesn't suck. They're going to hit with the Violent Grenade, but he gets a nano straight away. Madden's going to make short work of Chorong here. Muse in the Primal Rage, so Merit needs to find a squishier target. So he does. Both backliners for the Defiant are out of commish.
Yeah, and Pelican doesn't even get the sound barrier, Mitch, but just the ability to, being able to duel Finale, take him out. Then Chorong's right in his face. What does he do? He duplicates him to kind of give himself a little bit of a second life.
It's a heal.
And just jumps right down. Yeah, it's almost like another heal, right? Just jumps down right to his team. It almost doesn't matter who he duplicates at that point. He's done his job. He's gotten that first opening pick.
And that's a pretty good scenario for the Outlaws. I mean, bear in mind, the Defiant finished their attacking side with only a 1-minute deficit. Now, on King's Row, I mean, we've seen the most ridiculous pushes in overtime, right? So we don't rule anything out at that point. The Outlaws are able to put a stop to the Defiant after they get point A, just after, and the Defiant barely managed to get there. Very good result when you have 3 minutes and 3 seconds to spend, and you have a composition that is geared towards eliminating a single target very quickly before the enemy can respond.
Yeah, they also have to be pretty careful. We'll see the nano boost on the Merit here with the attack visor. Yeah, he just starts just destroying people. You see where the payload is at. If Toronto loses that fight when Houston, let's say they were taking point A, and they kind of have like some stagger spawns, and people get that secondary spawn, that far one, they're going to be difficult to even contest.
5, 4, 3.
Yeah, Houston aware of this too. The harder they hit that point A, the harder it will be for the Defiant to have anyone there. Basically, Toronto have to be conservative, Matt. They lose a play, they might just have to back away entirely. They really have no margin, no road to work with.
And they have to play perfectly here.
Yeah, how do you play careful, yet effectively enough to sort of muscle the Outlaws away from the point? They go aggressive, so not much care here, and yet Pelican's able to burn down Muse. They do get Iris. Fair enough, but
well,
I think
this
that's
almost
it.
what you would, if you're gonna have to lose a fight, this is kind of the way you're gonna have to do it, right? Because everybody is going to get that close spawn, and now you're gonna have to go back and maybe take another one again. Is Finale just hiding? Yeah, they cannot get spotted out right now. As they actually want to try this again. This could be really risky.
Yeah, this is risky. Finale not leaving it, so point not captured quite yet. Oh, Pelican can't get away. Finale now unleashed in a position to try and put a bit of pressure down on Merit, but he knows Lastro is close. He knows Lastro's been lethal as well. And Dante makes short work at the backline.
Backline, yeah.
And gets a health pack. I mean, Tracer might be one of his natural enemies, but he's a tank now. You don't mind too much. There's a power block there. He misses the punch, though.
I think he was just using the Seismic Slam to get away. I mean, that is insane play from Dante. Like, to be able to pop that power block, and then, you know, Tracer's trying to blink around, trying to get, like, shots all around you on your side and whatnot, and be able to block all the damage and then get away. I mean, that's crazy. As I think the Outlaws were probably a little stunned that Toronto ended up coming up and fighting this, because look, you have players coming all the way back from this spawn. It's going to be just kind of thrown together here at the end.
Well, it's going to be a money pulse or nothing, and that's the latter, I'm afraid to say. Finale didn't even know what hit him there, and the Houston Outlaws strike back. Map number 2, convincing attack backed up by a really stoic second defense. Puts them a nose ahead and evens the series.
Yeah, it looks like maybe like a boop or a knockback may have knocked Muse off of the cart. And you're not able to contest after that. And you kind of had a little bit of a late few deaths there on that point A. As the Outlaws storm back, take that second map, but we got a close series on our hands.
No doubt about it. Definitely much more than many pundits may have expected. The Outlaws have their match here at the Toronto Defiant. Two teams with their best looks ever going at it hammer and tongs with map 3 just around the corner. Don't go too far.
Please don't let me in.
Please don't let me into my zone. I just need some time on my own. All these people trying to get a conversation. You can conversate to that tone. My gut eyes on that throne, yeah. So I'm never alone, yeah. All these people trying to box me in. I'm at my weather, it's on, yeah. Now they ask where I'm at. Making hits that line back. I'm MJ, I'm 2-3, man. I just need some time back. I'm zoned in like defense. My life gone, no reset. But I live my best one, so I got no regrets. So I'm gone. Finally back in my home. I'm working like so much, they swear I had me a clone. Can't answer my phone now, just leave it there, that tone. Ballin', can't beat me up, cause I'm back in my zone now.
Well, suffice it to say, ladies and gentlemen, that the ante has been upped. The Outlaws looked like they were looking for a way to sort of cleanly finish fights and convert them into round wins after that first map. They absolutely come up with the answer on King's Row. Pretty darn solid, and their defensive endeavors, Matt, look much more airtight.
Yeah, they looked really strong there that time, consistently running that Doomfist tank setup with Dante in, and they'll run that same lineup again for both teams here as we go into the next map. Next one will be Gibraltar, so a lot of high ground here, a lot of verticality for tanks to be able to kind of traverse. Is the Doomfist able to do that now with Seismic Slam? Kind of works almost like that Winston lead.
Yeah, and we sort of talked about how Dante was playing it, on the attacking side of King's Row. He was actually being more peel and defensive oriented, trying to keep Merit standing for as long as possible and make sure that his backline were enabled to do a lot of work. I mean, Lastro had as many final blows as your average DPS player on that map, so the Outlaws have no shortage of weapons stowed in every which pocket. Gibraltar comes up next in this series, and again, an exciting opportunity to maybe see some of that longer range hit scan play. The Outlaws, you'll probably expect to see them sort of still go with Dante on that Doomfist. Obviously, Piggy waits on the bench for his opportunity to get in and start to mix it up too.
Yeah, do you, if you're like Toronto, do you try and bust out like a Widowmaker here or something along those lines? Looks like Toronto, they'll actually go with Hisu on Soldier, Finale on the Genji.
Man,
don't believe Muse is going to play the Orisa.
Killing me.
Yeah, he's going to play.
What do you make of the Brigitte here?
I mean, they're trying to kind of keep this Doomfist away, right? The Doom has been so effective at like getting onto the 76 or whatnot. There's really not like speed here. Like, what are you trying to do, right? Like, there's not like any big rotation you're trying to pull off, or you're not trying to really engage and go deep around this corner and whatnot. So not really a total use out of the speed, or you probably get more out of Briggs' kit.
4, 3, 2,
As is usual, it's about keeping Twilight alive. Nice little opener there. Some free percentage to Twilight. Nothing really to write home about now. As Dante just has a look. It's a bit of a probing attempt at gaining some information. The card's on the move here. And the ball, I guess, is in the Defiant's court here. See how they make use of this high ground.
I think you're just waiting. I think if you're the Outlaws, you're waiting to see kind of what you want to do in terms of the attack. You want to send Dante up to the high ground. You're probably discussing like how you're going to attack that now. As Seismic Slam goes up. You see, you can actually use Seismic Slam and then almost like channel a punch mid-air. Yeah.
Yep.
Kind of can channel all these abilities together.
Okay, he doesn't quite find Twilight there, so Dante's going to have to settle for a mini health pack in a more entrenched position behind enemy lines. Seems like he's happy with that, though. He creates a lot of threat, and he's allowed the Outlaws to look comfortable here.
Just the threat of him creates so much space, right? You're like, where is he? Where is he coming from? You kind of see him go like speeding by, and you're just like, all right, well, I guess we'll have to pay attention where he's coming from now. It's just that one kill on a Muse, and look at how far the Outlaws have gotten the card.
And the main question is, how do you get value out of Brigitte when you're giving ground constantly? I think that the Defiant eventually in this start reclaiming what was theirs in terms of that real estate. Merit, yeah, he wasn't going to survive that. Nice little dive. The pincer was well placed as Finale dashes through and is getting involved in many of these kills.
Yeah, that's what you need. When the server room take comes in from the Outlaws, the Defiant realize that's a perfect opportunity for them to fight. That's a great spot for Winston, Genji, and Brig to all kind of engage. And you see here, Hisu turns around, deals with Pelicans. Now his burst damages it in, and he just comes on the backside of this fight and cleans it up.
Outlaws are staved off again, but they don't have to walk through the underpass again quite yet. Sleep Dart, no connection on Dante. Biotic Grenade was good, but Pelican, that is a filthy stick. And again, Chong is standing on top of either, you know, his other support or DPS here. So that AoE damage really pays off if you can get a nice little sticky bomb connection. Muse is struggling to find a target. All he finds is the inside of his eyelids, Matt. Pelican, another Ana dupe here. Twilight's in trouble.
Yeah, he's able to get a sleep dart. He's trying to keep Iris alive, not able to do so. But see, really, the Echo just going from Pelican, just trying to get any target in terms of the duplicate. Is this will be a point A take for the Outlaws. Is, man, when he gets an anode and finds a target and lands those stickies, it is dangerous. I mean, that player is dead within seconds, it seems like.
Looks like Dante got caught out there just a little far ahead of the rest of the Outlaws. It's tough for Houston as they have to give up all this ground they just sort of took and play from outside of this area, which means that Hisu has 4 different options where, you know, the Outlaws can come from. So pretty easy damage for him as he play towards the shuttle.
So you also do have kind of like a difference here between Houston and Toronto in terms of like survivability, right? With Sound Barrier versus the Rally. As the Rally gets used here, Sound Barrier goes down. I believe that only connects with like 3 players. So not the best of a Sound Barrier, but even then, look at the Rally. Extra health only really goes to Chorong and Twilight. So the Rally just used to basically try and keep the supports up through that.
Yeah, it's a challenge. You're playing a proximity healer, Matt, a team that features Genji and Winston. Not always easy to get max value there. Pelican, though, removed, but the Outlaws haven't been kicked out of the shuttle phase yet. Dante may have to abscond, though.
Yeah, it's just a pretty defensive pick, the Brick, right? Just to protect Twilight, keep him up, make his life a little bit easier. The 76 as well, just the constant healing from the Brick. And she's close. We can take a look at Twilight's POV. That's a nice sleep.
I mean, he's going to hit someone. That ain't a big doorway.
There's too many people in the doorway. Yeah, you're going to get somebody.
223 and counting here for Houston. Well, the win conditions involve dealing with his blade first and foremost. Finale is nanoed as well. Iris in deep trouble. Dante at the door. Finale says, I've got VIP access, thank you.
So this is going to be pretty difficult for the Outlaws to push through, like you mentioned. And once you're going to get up on top of that ship, especially when you're playing in the 76 and the other teams, the Genji using the deflect and the dash can get up pretty quick, but this is where the Echo, it's kind of difficult, right, getting on through there. But you're going to have the nano here. Going to be able to nano Pelican, maybe keep him alive as he's going to try and get to that high ground.
Yeah, all tactical visor means that Pelican probably needs all the protection that he can get right now. It's a Brigitte dude for Pelican. No value to be had. He's knocked down. He is a pork chop right now. Iris also is in trouble. Beautiful stuff here from the Defiant. When it gets defensive, they really know how to turn it up.
I would definitely define the position that Iris was in trouble. Yes, just being juggled by Muse with no sleep dart. These primal rages in the corner. Yeah, definitely nothing you could do there. You do see Pelican switch over to the Genji. I like this pick. I like going Genji here. If you're the Outlaws, I think at this stage of the map, it's definitely going to be more effective than the Echo would have been.
Floating across that wide expanse, Echo is just tempting Hisu to riddle you with bullets. That was often the case. Another final blow from Muse, by the way, who leads his team in those. He's been so good at being proactive here. He's staunch hold on the high ground. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I know we've seen it a bit from Winston players, but not anything in kind of like the lethal range, but doing a nice shot.
I mean, people forget.
Crossfire, yeah.
That he's a poke tank now in some senses. Finale's been removed though, and Dante's in a really scary position now. Look at him get in between the backline of the Defiant and Muse. And so Muse is put to sleep now, put under a lot of pressure. He'll have to primal here. Dante knocked back by a whip shot. Is it good to use primal?
Another primal rage. I mean, I feel like that's really quick for Muse. That's a nice sound barrier there from last show. Going to connect with 3 players, trying to keep the Outlaws up.
Dante, what's he looking for? Pressure drawing away, make it hard for Brig to get Inspire procs by being in the thick of things. But Dante needs more. Yeah, he just knocked them back though, really. Just slows the Defiant down. It doesn't stop them from posting this sort of defense. And now Finale gets a nano boost. Pelican's been taken out of the picture. That switch to the Genji has not been effective. And this is going to be a hold here in the shuttle phase. The Defiant are staunch.
Yeah, so I do think that Genji was effective. I think just maybe a little bit too late. I think they were playing around getting that big nano echo combination that they've been doing, and it just didn't really work out. It was a nice play from Toronto, though, able to hold that high ground, like you mentioned, make it really tough the Outlaws even break through. That's where they kind of lost all of their time. It's a very winnable map here for the Toronto Defiant. As we'll see what the Outlaws decide to do on defense. Do you want to try and run maybe Genji Soldier here on the defensive side? I think it's possible, as you may not want to play that Echo and rely on it going into the second part of the map.
It seems that all Merritt could do was to poke a little bit at the Defiant inside the shuttle phase, but he comes away with only one final blow so far in this round. It's been very, very hard for him to complete those kills because the Defiant just sort of tuck themselves back into safer spots and get topped up and go again.
So take a look. Muse's POV, yep.
Oh, that's kind of dirty.
Charged up shot from the side, yeah. Just there's some crossfire coming in. Oh,
yeah. Merritt, what does he do? Like, how does he get in position to be threatening? He's a mid-range sort of hit scan.
Yeah.
And he can't really access the high ground without sort of forcing his way up the top right-hand side. So, feels like a suboptimal pick, or at least the way that Merritt was put in a position. He wasn't set up to succeed at all. So, quiet round for him.
Here we go, the Roadhog.
The Roadhog. Tell me about
Roadhog and Bastion. This is maybe just trying to get a hook and burn. Yeah.
All right.
Hook
that's
and burn.
Fun. Oh my. Dante looking more like
Bastion
right now. Yikes.
Bastion and Owl right now has an infinite KD. Think about that. Why are not more people playing Bastion? No,
this is why you want to see big bucks, mate.
Yeah, I just want to see Wheels mode come out.
That was the first Bastion of the Overwatch League, mate. You were dead right. Hisu, nice. That is just a devastating headshot to Pelican. Really not too bothered right now about Dante because there's no follow-up for the Doomfist, and Dante just gets packaged up in a box and sent back home.
And really good start here for Toronto. Being able to get that Roadhog hook onto Dante and then just finish off with the Bastion, right? Even with the power block, the amount of damage that Bastion just pumps out. Once he goes into Sentry mode, is just crazy. Not going to survive that. Pelican knows where Twilight's playing. Let's see how he goes and attacks this.
Keeping tabs on Hisu, probably the most important thing he can do right now. And Finale there caught himself with a deflex facing the wrong way after getting hit by a biotic grenade. So he gets put in panic mode, and this is about to get ugly, Matt. Deflect there from Pelican. Still respecting what Hisu can do at close quarters, but Chorong gets snarled up in front of the Genji, and Hisu is taken down. The Outlaws, decent defense here, and a good place to start shaving some clock. 90 seconds in already.
And I wonder if you're the Defiant. Yeah, I was just gonna say, switch off of the Widow here. Like, you got that first pick, you got a lot of cart progress. At the points where you're going to be fighting now, the 76 is just like way better, and they would have probably started to take advantage of the Widowmaker in terms of being able to dive and just take that character out. So
that's so annoying. Chorong has to walk his way back up to the high ground. Muse knocked back again. All right. Nano on the cards for sure. It's going to be Muse. He gets a nice top up, but Pelican has already struck true, and the Sleep Dart connects. Now Muse has primal rage, but it'd just be a huge waste right now. So back to spawn again. We're upwards of 2 minutes burn of clock.
And he had Nano there, Muse, and I believe when they wake him up, he actually gets punched into a wall. There's damage coming in from the Soldier as well.
Look at this. Oh.
I mean, what do you do?
I mean, my God. Human
Eye hit that sleep.
60 FPS.
Yeah, you don't have to hit that sleep. And you're in a tough straight.
Finale trying to harry Dante there. He's forced to back away and get topped up. Seismic slam, so again, chance to be a bit of a Chorong just standing there. Hello. He's just like a stunned mullet. Couldn't believe what just happened. Hisu. Okay, just a bit of a tickle of damage there. Nothing too serious, but Pelican's blade is anything but a joke, Matt. That's 2 kills for him. Muse finally able to pop out that primer that it was holding on to before, and Finale needs to get some purchase here. Dante blocking, defensive position, keeps his hands up by his face. Finale finds very little there.
I mean, yeah, it's, they're going to be able to stay alive in this, the Outlaws. Is keep that going. It's, Tony Ferguson last night could have used the power block technique.
Oh my!
Got face kicked into another.
That guy looked 180 like an owl. I was quite impressed. Then he fell over.
Yes. So Muse just being a distraction, jumping in, got his bubble. Merritt's going to use the attack flash, so this could be huge. Really put it in the Outlaws' favor.
Merritt does give up that sort of high ground in order to do this. Drop down, get rid of Twilight there. And now it's Hisu who's in awkward positions. He can't find good places to do damage. The Defiant can't control server room at all. The Outlaws are just forcing them away. And this defense, I mean, this has turned into an absolute blowout. The Defiant had a chance here, a real one map, but that's all but gone.
They got off to such a good start there at Toronto and just couldn't capitalize it. A really impressive defense there from the Outlaws, but I think if you're Toronto, like later in the week, you'll go back and watch this footage and be pretty upset. You had an advantage here at the start of the game. You got a lot of payload progress off of it, but not able to capitalize.
And all eyes were on Hisu. Can he sort of turn around and sort of get his team over the line there? But he was then the one forced into awkward situations with people up in his face. It's Pelican that went absolutely... He went tropical on that Genji. 14 final blows, 6 deaths. He just turned up the heat in a huge way on that defensive round. And Pelican always seems to be able to provide no matter what team he's on. And now the Outlaws are within striking distance of a series victory and a 2-0 starting week here. Can't complain about that one. Stick around. Let's see if the Defiant can live up to their name. Make a match of this.
time for pulse-pounding action. It's time for gear-grinding gaming. It's time for Overwatch League Season 5. Come on down to youtube.com/Overwatch League for all of the brand spanking new Overwatch 2 action. And this time, it's a whole new way to play. 5 season, 5 fun, 5v5, only $5. Just kidding, it's free. You'll see Soldier, Tank Doomfist, Bastion with a hack. Hey kids, do try this at home. And now, for a limited time only, you can get in on the Overwatch 2 PvP beta action yourself with beta codes, beta codes, beta codes. This season, on opening weekend and select matches, we're giving away 1,500 beta codes to the Overwatch 2 PvP beta per hour. Make sure your YouTube account is connected to your Battle.net account and glue your eyeballs to your screens so you don't miss out on all of the hard-hitting action. 5th season, Bastion with a hack, beta codes. Tune in to the Overwatch League for your chance to get access to the Overwatch 2 PvP beta.
There's something about this Outlaws team, Matt, that we've never seen from these guys before. It's a glimmer of brilliance, an echo of, chants in a crowd and maybe glimpses of them holding a trophy in their future somehow. I mean, they've had a tough matchup here against the Toronto Defiant, but this is absolutely their best look. And when we get to see some of these big individuals pop off, I mean, it is quite a sight to behold. What an impressive defense on Gibraltar we just saw.
Yeah, Pelican has looked really strong on the Echo, and then Dante being in a completely different role, right? Same heroes he's kind of played in the past, Doomfist, but a completely different way to play it. Really needs to be kind of the tempo setter for the team. And he's fit into that role nicely, really kind of leading the charge as this Outlaws team looks really strong. And I also think, man, Toronto on their side, dude, they're gonna go back and really kick themselves in that Gibraltar, especially if they're able to take New Queen Street, which would be the next map in our series, because man, they had that one. They started out so good on offense. The Roadhog hook, the Bastion finish. Then Hisu on the Widowmaker, right, is able to take out Pelicans, so you even get more payload progress, and they just got nothing after that.
Yeah, it was after that point that Pelican really came alive, right, finding that quick double kill on sort of the backliners of the Defiant, and all of a sudden they were limited on options. But hey, listen, got to put it out of your mind now as we head over to New Queen Street. These two teams love to brawl. They love extended engagements. They love individuals that go and try and take matters into their own hands. And this is going to be the map. See, the push game type, where the Outlaws look to try and finish this series here. I think a lot of people definitely expected them to come out on top here, but we're seeing some depth to the Toronto Defiant that we weren't able to really spot as much in their previous matchup here. So teams still looking to showcase themselves in our first week of our clash here.
Yeah, what I really like from Push so far, from what we've seen, is just the ability for individuals to make big plays, right? And I think you kind of look across the board at all roles for that. I think, though, when you're playing this Doomfist, Dante has an opportunity to really kind of blow this game open as just being a disruptor amongst the map. So you really kind of look at him, and then I think you look at both hit scan players. You look at Merit, and you look at Hisu being able to play that Soldier 76. Some decent, kind of side, flanking routes and options that you're able to, put some damage down from the side, really make a huge impact.
They're long sidelines, aren't they? When you see a soldier pop out behind you, if you're a sort of a backline or support player, sometimes it's already too late. The fact that the soldier's been able to work his way so far around behind you can put you out of the fight. So both of these teams playing what I would consider to be their signature looks, their preferred composition. I think the Echo pick for Pelicans definitely a point of comfort here.
Yes, I mean, they've also been doing a really nice job comboing it with the nano boosts. As you see, both teams kind of fighting for this high ground platform here. It's a nice boot by Last Show.
He's good, man.
Out of the equation.
I mean, it gave Dante some time as well to get healed up, because he took a ton of just burst damage at the start of that fight. Trades here, Muse down for Pelican. I'd say Houston are probably pretty happy with that. But the Defiant had this sort of high ground, this little shuttle control here, so we need to see them unseated as Merit looks to pressure down Finale.
Oh, nice shot, though, as he's able to put some damage down. into Hisu. And I think losing Muse there at the beginning is huge because Dante able to stay alive on the Doomfist, probably a little bit more, self-sustainable than a Winston, right? Winston just has the bubble. Doom just has so much, speed and just being able to move just so fluidly around the map. And now with the addition of the power block, just the damage reduction, right? That you're okay with, but kind of making that trade there at the start.
Merritt got knocked out there, but he'll be back in the fight right now, basically. He's just so quick. DPS passive plus his sprint. Already in position to do some work, and Dante's able to get topped up here. This is like an airborne, like a mid-air refuel for him as he goes and finds where his supports are waiting. Iris is removed though, and Pelican might be on a quick trip back to spawn once more as Finale does what Tracer does best. It's cleanup crew.
Yeah, so it looks like the Outlaws going to get wiped here as Dante gets hit with a biotic grenade. And now you'll have the bot moving in the Toronto Defiance direction. We can take a look here. And Triumph's point of view is, does Merritt get knocked off the side? Yep, see you later, bud.
Only just, but not able to get any purchase on the edge there. Nano boost here for both sides. Expect to see maybe a preemptive sound barrier by the Defiant as well. This is a very important fight. This may determine the front score for the Defiant. Muse has the primal here. Iris doesn't want to be in that position. He got away. He got away with murder. Muse put to sleep. They're not able to knock him off the edge of the map. And elsewhere, things going all right for the Outlaws. Merritt in the tack visor, though. He's going to be brought down after getting rid of Twilight. Numbers actually favouring the Toronto Defiant after Muse spent the first part of that fight sleeping.
And it's crazy that the Outlaws even able to kind of make that last as long as they did. It really comes down to Iris's sleep dart. When he's able to hit Muse with it, that stops his primal right there in his tracks, because if he doesn't hit that, he was going off the side. You're probably having Muse get back to the cart, back to the bot, cause even more problems. So, do have Pelican with this duplicate here as Toronto Defiant, they push into the lead.
See, the Pelicans playing close to that sort of tall building, ready to kind of drop down and stay out of the purview of Hisu, but it's in fact Muse that snaps him up. Finale has to recall there, doesn't expect to see Merritt inside his own biotic field, but he'll just wait for that to expire, and Dante can't block the back. Finale, another backstab from the Tracer. This guy's proving to be a problem for the Outlaws.
And I don't think you want to switch off with the duplicate, because you want to get a use out of that ultimate. But man, the snowball is really coming as you're going to get to the point where you're going to unlock that forward spawn. It's not like extremely forward, right? I think the defense still has an advantage in terms of like how close they spawn. Will make it easier though if Toronto loses a player or two coming back, as man, Pelican goes right in. He's getting taken out so fast.
Yeah, he's having a stinker so far, Matt. Getting shut down pretty consistently by Muse. Okay, Meteor Strike there for Dante. Back to safety. Muse very low. And, yeah, he had it. Didn't have a chance to use it though, or chose not to either way. The Defiant maybe just feel they're far enough ahead here that, they can just pick up the bottom, resume what they were doing earlier on. Pelican returns, duplicates, and slept. Doesn't matter. The fight's been won by his team.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He looked like he had that primal for a bit. Could have maybe popped that and stayed alive. You had like that forward spawn, but maybe you feel like you got enough like out of the progress, right? That you don't really feel like you need to kind of have your foot on the gas and go much further, but opportunity maybe. I mean, I don't know. Have we even seen a push map be finished yet? I don't think so, at least from the ones that we've casted.
No, you've basically with 3 or 4 fights in a row. It's really not easy to do. At this level especially. And if it ever happens, you know it's been an absolute blowout. Nice position there from Finale. Really able to just snap up Merritt as he just punishes that backline there for the Defiant. Dante is trying to get not getting away with this.
Possible. Yeah.
25.14. Not great.
You already have more than half the game off the clock, right? And push only an 8-minute time limit in terms of the round.
It's short.
Yeah, you're already down to below 3 minutes, so this is go time for the Outlaws. Think about how far they have to kind of get this, bot cross, how some of these fights kind of get stalled out for a little bit. You got to get this thing going in your direction pretty quick.
Yeah, they get the front sport after one fight win. That's how quickly the bot moves in between those barricades. That is not insignificant. Okay, Merritt. Struggling to connect there. Muse's primal mechanics are just unreal. He gets punted across the map. Dante at least is able to reciprocate in some manner, but Muse wants a bit more. Sound barrier, though, might just be the signal he needs to know the fight's over.
I mean, you're kind of okay, though, with them investing the sound barrier into this fight if you're Toronto. It just kind of shows like how desperate Houston is, you know, going up against this clock, that they have to get it going in their direction. Finale doing a tremendous job.
Oh my God.
Just buying even more time.
Satisfying, though, to see Lucio be able to sort of juggle an enemy in that way. He's that long flank we were talking about, Matt. It's always devastating.
Yes, now we'll get back into action as the Outlaws, they'll get close to their barrier. Now they'll start pushing. It's Dante with the Meteor Strength. Maybe Pelican you know, with a blade in this fight. But still, you're going to have Nano Sound Barrier. Toronto's done a really good job on this map, cycling their ultimates.
Interesting that Dante pulled that Meteor Strike so quickly. I wonder why he felt like he had to get out.
I think
he was pretty healthy.
I think it was more to kind of draw out that sound barrier. That you draw out the sound barrier, and then Pelican, you know, you win that fight, right? Let's say you draw the sound barrier, you like disengage a little bit, you win that fight. You turn around now, and maybe you got a Nano Blade going your way. They don't really have much anything else to work with.
Hello there.
But see how annoying this is for the Outlaws, right? Toronto can theoretically just get that front spawn again. Getting
the burst is so fast with that like Tracer when you get up to that high ground. Is they're able to deal with Merit so fast. You had Kisu on a little bit of a flank too.
Interesting. They weren't pushing the bot sort of during that fight, but I mean, it's a convincing enough window to get into this checkpoint.
Don't think that was intentional.
Yeah, well, either way, a comfortable lead and 37 seconds remain in the round, and that's why the Defiant say fine. Yeah.
You can fight around this corner. Yeah. I mean, if you're Toronto, you don't need to play that close. You have a pretty huge advantage. You have like a 3-fight, maybe even 4.
They are so far ahead, Matt. It's not even funny. Remember, when the Outlaws, if the Outlaws get that next checkpoint, they have to wait for the bot to get past the bollards. It takes ages. Blade Pelican. Looks like he's just cutting his fingernails with that one. Yep.
Yeah,
not great.
He deflects and he has like to deflect a little bit earlier, and then knows he's going to have no deflect there for the tack visor. And this has been a great showing for Toronto, as we're going to get a game 5.
So be it. The Outlaws look pretty confused on that map in general. We sort of get there with them, and maybe it makes you wonder, like, what happened if they get a push match up against the Fuel in that series? Maybe the Outlaws struggling for cohesion there just a little bit. And I've got to say, you know, Muse was a real problem. 11 final blows for him. 11 final blows for Finale on the Tracer. Really looked like it frustrated Dante to have to deal with the Tracer for much of that time. So we're off to a break, ladies and gentlemen, and this one goes to a map 5. The Defiant stand tall, hold off the Outlaws, and force a decider. Well, talk about polar opposites for the Houston Outlaws. They run roughshod over the Dallas Fuel with, well, limited resistance, if I'm honest with you, in front of a roaring home crowd. And now back to the quiet, the static of their practice facility. They're up against the Toronto Defiant, who refuse to give up. Map 5 is on the cards, ladies and gentlemen, and Toronto strike back on push in a big way.
Yeah, and Toronto, I mean, you look at some of the rest of the series, right? Kings Row is like the one that I think the Outlaws like handily took, right? But the rest of them, like, obviously Toronto takes map 1, it's close. Toronto on Gibraltar with a pretty nice hold, and then they kind of just like fumbled their offense. They've really been in control a lot of this series. You know, I think if the Outlaws are able to escape here at Game 5 with a win, that's a huge sigh of relief for them.
No doubt about it, and way to sort of right a week that's been a little bit bumpy, to say the least. Ilios is going to be the battlefield for this final map, and again, we kind of know these two teams are pretty well locked in the way they want to play. Houston have shown pretty limited interest, I guess, at going away from that sort of Echo Soldier composition. Although on a map like Ruins, we've seen some teams flirt with the Widowmaker pick. Relatively limited success so far. We don't expect to see that here. So both teams with the sim out of the gates, and everything looks, well, pretty copacetic so far.
Yeah, and I think you're just going to see both of these teams kind of go out with what they've been playing all series along. The one thing I think you can see is Pelican probably playing more of this Genji. I think bringing the Genji in, his Echo has been fantastic today. It's just a little bit of a safer pick, especially when they've been showing so much Tracer on the other side.
Round 1, capture the objective.
All right. Sim TP's out, and there's that Tracer for Finale, the real thorn in the Outlaws' side on much of that push map. See what Toronto can do with that loose end. Okay. Mirrored on the Widow.
It's interesting because they know that Toronto has been playing the Tracer pretty consistently at this point to try and counteract Pelican's Echo. So maybe they're able to take a little bit of advantage here. Is nothing to really get to the high ground, and that's going to be Twilight taking out Dante off the rip. You're going to lose Iris. This should be Toronto able to take this first point.
Ah, yes, the Widow experience here on this map. Merit's unable to really find any notable picks, and now without map control, it gets harder and harder to put Widowmaker in a position where she can find a clean kill and set up that player advantage.
You'll see what happen here.
Yeah, got ganged up on a bit there.
Yeah. There's really no sightlines for supports even helping there for Dante. The Widowmaker experiment is over. Whoa, okay.
What? That is absolute filth.
Yeah, that's some Overwatch 1 Doomfist tech there.
Ah, it's degenerate as heck.
1 ability, 2-3 kills. Yeah, take a look at this.
Yeah, let's see how that went down. Geronimo.
I mean, it's so fast with the seismic slam and then a punch, and then he like pushes forward to get another like kill or two. So he's already up to 84%. I mean, that's a huge play there from Dante, because it was not looking good for the Outlaws. Toronto was really in control there.
Absolutely. Dante operating like a dive DPS there. A lot of front-loaded damage taken by the Defiant. He was there just to finish the job. Twilight a little isolated in that position. Ah, great sleep. Twilight looking to get back to safety now. Dante, no, still looking for Twilight. He just punches his lights out. Hisu's in deep trouble as well. He is over the edge, and Dante, eyes wide as saucers here because he knows he's got the team on his back.
Is it enough, though, to keep this going? I know Muse is primal. Is he going to pop this here? Oh, he gives up the point when he goes to the Meteor Strike, and the point clips, but still, they had to invest the primal here. Now, like 1v2 scenario, Dante is actually almost able to clutch that. Muse went down like 26 HP, I think.
Yeah, the Meteor Strike, sort of the damage from it was blocked by the bubble. Forcing the ultimate from Muso, I think you're pretty happy about if you're Dante, for sure. Okay, that sleep does not connect. Twilight's in trouble. Bio deployed. There's so much damage available to Hisi, though. He burns down Dante. Merit at least able to find the trader. A slick little helix rocket across the map here, but look at the collapse on the Iris.
Yeah, and I mean, Lastro there trying to help him out with a boot, but not enough. As I know Finale gets right in there with Muse. As the Outlaws mounting an offensive here, though. You're going to be able to get rid of Muse. Sup, Dante in the mix. He's going to be able to get that health pack. Then Merritt from the side. Oh, gets taken out by Hisu for a second. I thought he maybe pull attack visor out. Try and turn it, because look where you're at in terms of percentage. 85 and counting here for the Defiant.
He doesn't expect the taxi to be there. I mean, you know how quickly Hisu can get back into the fight. We talked about how fast the soldier is, then Ana Lucio speed boost in there. He was lightning fast to return. This stick is beautiful, and Iris is down, and this is out of the Outlaws' hands already. Dante, with no one to turn to and no real option outside of your power block and try and stay on the point for as long as possible. Charge up punch looked pretty good, but Hisu puts it to bed, and the Defiant, one round away from taking this series out from under the Outlaws.
Yeah, Merritt never get to use there of the tack visor. Maybe he would have been able to use on the side, but Chorong and Hisu coming through there. He gets hit with a direct helix and finished off, and maybe that would have been an opportunity for the Outlaws to turn it in their favor, but Dante doing everything he can. I mean, his Doomfist has been on point today. So Toronto 1 round away from taking this series. His Pelican looks like potentially hovering that Echo yet again.
Yeah, it's a better Echo map, right? Ruins was not, though. And I think Pelican's hero pool exposed a little bit, in rounds where he has to play Genji, but this guy's an insane tracer. We saw him play just an unbelievable tracer at times for the Atlanta Reign last year. It's just not something the Outlaws want to go for. Pelican, though, really quiet so far on this map. Only the 2 final blows. Merritt slightly better at 4, but really the Outlaws DPS need to be set up for success here to even up this map.
And I feel like the Outlaws need to play their comp perfectly, especially when you start to fight some of these close range areas with the Echo versus a Tracer in the 76. So you're really looking at Pelican. He's got to just be so safe and really capitalize on some of those lower players and get in there with the focusing beam.
There's that burst. That's what you're looking for. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard for Muse to account for just how quickly he's going to take damage when you throw an Echo into the equation. Normally you play your life pool as a resource and use your bubble and sort of jump back to safety, but it gets much less predictable with Echo. I don't think Pelican would have seen that rocket coming, though. It's Hisu clocks him one. And the Defiant, oh no.
That is a team kill, as even though Pelican able to get rid of Muse early on, that focusing beam not able to do much else. And yeah, you see they move right away off of that Echo. That you can't take any risks, right? Like, you can't just kind of sit on it and maybe play for a duplicate. You have to kind of make that switch really early on.
And the Genji was just a little lackluster in that previous round from Pelican. He has to take this bull by the horns. And you know how the rest goes. Finale, close to a pulse bomb here. All right, defensive body grenade had to be used by Iris. A lot of pressure on him. Lastro doing everything he can to keep them off him, but they can't. The Defiant will not be denied. Muse goes for the primal there at the very least here, but both teams have lost their Ana players. With Merritt out of the picture, though, the Outlaws have to go again.
Just gonna try and get back to the rest of the team there if they're chasing down Pelican. Man, his primal skills today have been insane. Yeah, I mean, he
again is leading his team in final blows. It's just disgusting.
Yeah, and even that's going to be a stick there on Dante. He's able to soak up some of that, but even just the ability from Muse, even the long range with that alternate fire from Winston, you haven't really seen many people finish it, but he's got like a few kills off of that today.
Where's Lastro? Who's he looking for? Unclear at the moment. He's just going to go for the tactical visor, though. Lastro disintegrates under that level of scrutiny. Merritt goes for his later on, and he actually loses out. He just rips him limb from limb, and this could be it. The Houston Outlaws might have let this one slip away. They win the rivalry match. They win the headline event earlier this week in front of a screaming crowd, and now just silence.
Man, you are able to bring it back if you're the Toronto Defiant. Take this series. I don't think anyone expected this coming into this matchup with how good the Outlaws looked against the Fuel, especially with how good the Fuel looked today. Maybe a little bit of kind of coming down off the high of playing in front of the crowd a little bit. Really kind of impacted the Outlaws today, but I think the Toronto Defiant, they showed you they have the talent on this roster to contend with some of these teams at the top of the Western Division.
I'll stop you there. I actually think that most Outlaws fans I spoke to this week expected this result. Not that they think their team is not good, it's that, they've been sort of conditioned to want to wait to see if there's a trend of consistency from their squad. We've seen incredibly high highs from the Outlaws, and now we've seen somewhat of a trough. You know, there at times we saw the DPS really struggle to fire up, and it definitely happened on that last map, but someone who needs a shout out. This guy's insane. It's crazy. You know, DPay said he was like fighting a battle with Ty Dollar to go more aggressive on that Gladiators roster. Muse is unleashed right now, and now you know what, he was so hyped up coming into the league, Matt.
Yeah, he kind of looked like, yeah, last year you were, no, he obviously had his moments, but not really kind of like the incredibly like hype tank that we kind of thought he would be. But man, today he was insane. Just the plays that he was able to make, consistently being able to pick up some of these kills, stay alive, the primal tech, just all over the series. Really just dominant performance from Muse today. I also would say a big shout out to kind of like the, you know, whether it's the coaching staff, whether it's the players determining in game, when the Echo kind of was really becoming a problem for Toronto, Finale making the switch over to the Tracer consistently really started to turn the tides in this series.
Yeah, not only does it frustrate the Echo, but also it's kind of hard for Dante to keep tabs on it, and also, you know, force him to play a bit more defensively, a bit more peel-oriented here. Look at this, 8.9 final blows per 10 minutes. What you are looking at is peak athletic performance. This is what teams are looking for from their tank players right now. They are expected to be equal contributors in so many of these fights. Maybe not to the degree that Muse has. I'd say this definitely falls out of the bounds of what is expected, but this is a performance that he's going to want to hold on to if/when times get tough for this team. The Toronto Defiant are starting to shrug that mantle, Matt, off of being a 500 team, of being a very wishy-washy mid-table roster. This was a top-table performance.
Well, it's so interesting because you kind of look at some of the other rosters we like highly touted across the league, right? And like, oh, you know, this team looks so much better. And like we kind of said, like Toronto does look better, and obviously probably the best roster they've ever had. But now you kind of like start to evaluate them a little bit differently after you've seen them kind of beat the Outlaws, obviously a really close series. And with how the Fuel looked today, it's like, well, you look at that performance from Muse, you have Twilight on this team. We've seen what Hisu's done in the past. You know, Charong and Finale looked good today. And you're like, where is the ceiling for this team, right? Are they going to be better than what we've seen in the past, which is pretty much, you know, a 500 team. You're able to kind of keep close with the teams above you, not really pull those series out, and then really almost kind of be the gatekeepers of some of the teams below. Can they kind of break through? That's what you're really looking at this season for Toronto.
A great point, Matt. It must be nice for them. They are masters of their own destiny, and they are the ones that get to decide how high that ceiling actually is. Great start for them, though, here. A 1-1 week, nothing to sneer at for the Outlaws as well. They've got some, you know, important teachable moments to reflect on from this series. What an opening weekend here at the Kickoff Clash qualifiers. It's all up in the air so far, and I couldn't ask for any more than that. We'll be back later, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we're going to hear, obviously, this match gets sort of broken down. I've got to say, really impressed with it. We'll see what the desk has to say after this.
What's up, guys? It's Ubi here, and I'm here to give you everything you need to know about our brand new map mode, Push. You're guaranteed to see plenty of push on the Overwatch League this season now that we're playing on the Overwatch 2 PvP beta. So, how does push work? Well, I'm here to give you a quick crash course. We have not just a new game mode, but brand new playgrounds to play on. Overwatch League teams will face off on brand new maps like Colosseo and New Queen Street. To start, the two teams begin in opposite spawns like control maps and will meet in the center where they find a giant robot named TS1. Also, like a control map, TS1 is only able to be activated after 30 seconds at the beginning of a round. This allows teams to be strategic with their placement and take team fights elsewhere instead of rushing into the middle of the map as fast as possible. When one team is in close proximity to TS1 with no other members of the opposite team close by, a team can start moving TS1 toward the enemy spawn. When the robot starts moving, it starts walking a distance before a checkpoint where it then starts to push a barricade and thus progresses more slowly. If the leading team loses control of TS1, the other team can start advancing in the opposite direction and towards their team's barricade. TS1 is but a humble servant and only does what he's told. TS1 does move faster when he's not pushing a barricade, so he's quite nimble in between enemy push points, and this definitely allows for greater momentum shifts. Players have 8 minutes to push their team's barricade to the end of the road towards the enemy spawn and win. If neither team's barricade reaches its end goal in time, then the team who pushed their barricade the farthest distance and has control of TS1 wins. The game enters overtime if control of the robot is contested or the team who currently has control of TS1 does not have the farthest distance pushed. Overtime ends when the team with TS1 loses control of it or when the team with control of TS1 pushes their barricade to a distance exceeding their opposition's. What's fun about these brand new maps is that Colosseo and New Queen Street have their main paths, but they also have lots of twists and turns, shortcuts, and high grounds, so players can flank and find new ways to cut off the enemy's forward progression easily. Push really is all the fun aspects of control and payload style maps like Hybrid and Escort rolled into one, and it's bound to see some great action this year in the Overwatch League. Now that's all you need to know about Push. Stay tuned to the Overwatch League YouTube channel for all the updates around the Overwatch 2 PvP beta and, of course, all the action of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to the post show, everybody. I'm here joined by Finale from Toronto, Defiant for the post-match interview. Finale 선수 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요. 반갑습니다.
All right, well, congratulations on the win. Oh, Finale says thank you, and thank you for having me. All right, Finale. So this matchup against Houston Outlaws, it was very back and forth, but today you guys got the dub. How are you able to get the win today against the Houston Outlaws? 자, 첫 번째 질문은 오늘 경기 굉장히 접전이었던 것 같습니다. 피나 선수 어떻게 해서 오늘 토론토가 승리를 할 수 있었나요?
일단 다들 안 되는 점도 다들 말해줘서 피드백 수용 빨리빨리 하고 저희가 안 되는 점들 약간 위주로 붙여서 잘 된 것 같습니다.
Right. I think the main key point was that the fact that there were some things that didn't work out as planned, so it was just adjusting really fast, finding the things that didn't work out for our team and just quickly fixing it to make it work. I think that was the key to our victory today. All right. I do have to say, your Genji play today was fantastic, but I think all of us on the desk, we were really impressed by your Tracer play today against the Houston Outlaws. As a Tracer player, what do you think about Tracer in this current meta or in the Overwatch 2 currently? 두 번째 질문은 당연히 오늘 겐지도 너무나도 잘하셨지만은 저와 또 이제 중계진 분들이 이제 북미 쪽 중계진 분들이 생각하기에 오늘 트레이서 플레이가 굉장했던 것 같아요. 굉장히 임팩트가 강했다고 생각을 하는데 트레이서 플레이어로서 지금 현 메타의 트레이서는 좀 어떤가요?
트레이서는 저는 아직도 할만하다고 생각하고 있고요. 근데 지금 다만 메타에서 겐지가 더 좋기 때문에 겐지를 많이 쓴다고 생각합니다.
All right. Tracer is still a pretty good pick. It is decent. It is very playable in the current meta and in a lot of compositions that the teams use. But I do have to say that Genji is currently a little bit better than Tracer. That's why we're seeing a lot more Genji, and that is why just overall Genji is a better hero to pick if you have to pick Tracer or Genji. Probably Genji is the better pick currently in this patch. All right, that is all the time that we have for today. Finale, thank you so much and hope to talk to you soon. 피날레 선수 오늘 너무 감사하고 이걸로 인터뷰를 마치도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
네, 감사합니다.
Bye.
The most adorable thing you might know. Actually, I think they caught it. Costa also always waves.
I always say goodbye, and my default reaction is just wave and say goodbye, but I'm never on camera. So goodbye, finale.
Yeah, I think we caught it. The tail end of an
I think maybe next time when I say goodbye, I think we should just all come close and say bye together. That'll be really cute.
Yeah, it's a group effort. Great to hear from him. Also great, of course, to hear his thoughts on that Genji and the Tracer. Right.
But
I think Matt and Mitch, they both broke it down really well as well. Like that Tracer just really worked against the composition they were playing against. As soon as Pelican on that Echo became a problem, the switch to Tracer really worked out. And as a little bonus, it also seemed to really make Dante struggle on that Doomfist. What made the Doomfist struggle so much with Dante? With the Tracer.
It's really hard to know exactly what is happening because it's also new, right? But that's one of the weaknesses that I feel like the Houston Outlaws experienced in this matchup of like when Finale went to that Tracer and was able to do more consistent damage, Doomfist can't really deal with the Tracer that well, right? You have to hit that punch, which makes it really difficult to deal with. And the Tracer's just constantly picking at you, very easy pulse bomb target. So it felt like once Finale was going over to that Tracer and he was getting room to be able to move around the map, Dante was struggling to do anything, and that is the weakness of putting a DPS player on the tank role, right? Is that Dante doesn't have that freedom to switch over to another hero. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about this. Dante's a talented player, but I don't think he can just pull out the Winston and have the same level of performance, especially with how well Muse played, right? Muse impressed me heavily in this match for the Toronto Defiant, and deservedly was the player of the match because Muse was just getting so much done on the Winston. And for me, and my takeaway from today is these last few matches have left me more confused than I was.
Yeah, that didn't help us at all, did it? Danny, was the He's Lease in this one, or?
He definitely was. I think this matchup was really back and forth because both teams were really great, I think. Especially on Toronto's side, I was very surprised by all the players and, they made everything work. But I think my biggest takeaway after this whole week is that anything is possible right now, and I love about that. Like, did we expect Houston Outlaws to beat Dallas Field? No. Did we expect Toronto Defiant to beat Houston Outlaws? Not really. Everything and anything could happen right now, and I think that's what makes this exciting right now.
Absolutely. I think the one thing I really learned is that we know nothing. And that's good. That keeps it fresh, that keeps it exciting. I'm pretty sure everyone in our audience had to, revisit the board again when making the pick'ems for next week because that didn't help.
Yeah.
Now I still don't know where either of those teams is standing, and Dallas suddenly look. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, what is going on? And we're the analyst desk. We're supposed to provide answers to those questions, but
is that our job?
Just follow your heart, everybody.
Follow your heart.
I'm gonna go back to my follow my heart thing.
Yeah, no,
I'm not just turn off my brain and just I feel like that's.
I mean, sometimes that's the best you can do, and you got the London pick right.
That is right.
Today, so you followed your heart.
Thank God that I got that.
Now you're the leader of the board. Yeah. Imagine that. Now, of course, this is the end of our very first week here of the 2022 season of the Overwatch League. And what a week it was. We had so many great performances, first-time performances from rookies. We got to look at so many different just styles and teams and those revamped rosters is very, very exciting. There's so much more to come because we haven't even seen anything of the APAC region being played. So much more exciting things on the horizon. But for now, I just want to take a look at what happened today with our best of the day, starting with you, Danny. What was your moment that really tickled you?
We had a lot of great matches today, but I want to take everyone back to the very first match. Of course, I picked that one, right, guys? Because I got the prep right. I'm talking about London Spitfire versus Vancouver Titans. My best of the day was Chatty. Mr. Giga Chad Hottie on that Reinhardt. As we were seeing, he cleans up everything and he goes in with that charge. And yeah, I don't know if he got the kill on the Hangzhou with the charge, but I don't think so. He just went in and we get that big emote, big Reinhardt emote.
Is he feeling himself, or is that just like a good stretch after a job well done?
I think it's a bit of a flex. I think it's a bit of a flex.
Stretch.
Yeah.
Well, how do you had a bad season last season? And I feel like this was his moment of like Yeah, I'm still good. Like, he was good on the tank today. His right-hand play was really good. So he was definitely chatty today. So I'm looking forward to more of him.
Yeah, and kind of cringe to not pick London.
Yeah, kind of cringe, right?
Super cringe. Kind of weird. I don't know. Costa, what was your highlight of today?
Well, my highlight of today is it's going to be a good moment because I feel like Xayahs have gotten complacent in the one tank meta. There's not a diva flying around, and there's no defense matrix. So I feel like Hanbin, a little complacent with this Graviton on Eichenwald against Decay, I believe it was on the Genji. Yeah, Decay just walking out, just running out. Oh, big deflect. I think that's the first deflect of Overwatch 2 in the Overwatch League, and gets got. So absolutely crazy play, return to sender, as Hex likes to say. So big plays by Decay. Hanbin down.
I've never deflected anything.
I actually did it recently.
But it was not on purpose.
I did it too. I did it. I meant to do it. I don't know where it went. I deflected it and it was gone. I had to ask the opposition Xayah. I'm like, did I deflect that? And he's like, yeah, you did it. And I was like, okay, sweet. I don't know.
It's like when I accidentally eat an Alta's Diva and everyone's like sick, and I'm like, yeah.
Totally planned.
Totally exactly what I wanted to eat. Now, I went a little further with my best of the day. I made it best of the week because there was just...
Is that allowed?
Of course, because that's allowed.
Oh, wow.
I'm the host of the show. I can literally just do that.
Okay.
So, yeah, my best of the week is just like a compilation, if you will, of some really, really sick aces. And we had plenty of those.
Yeah.
I just wanted to run it back. 4-of-a-kind aces. I would have liked to see 5 aces just because...
Cheating?
Because,
yeah. I totally forgot about that.
Oh,
this one was the very first one, right, with Nero 5K.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
There was a good smirk there at the end of the way. There as well in the player cams. Yeah.
This one was, is this Merit?
Yeah.
Being a fight? Oh.
Merit
Soldier is so broken right now.
Yeah.
Soldier is so broken.
Well,
I mean, if they played, it looks like it, but I'm sure if we do, it's just...
Well, I probably won't even get an ult in a single game, honestly.
Fair.
It's actually interesting seeing how, like, in 5v5, getting a team kill is actually, like, so much more common. Maybe it's just because we have Soldier and Visor. Like, Nano Visor feels like a cheat code of, like, you just run at them and point and click and you just get the kills, and that's why so many of these are Nano Visors. But it's going to be a lot more common, people killing the entire opposition in 5v5. So...
I like that, though. I think that adds quite a dynamic and, of course, makes people a little bit more wary of certain fights. And I honestly have very much enjoyed the return of Soldier as well, even though it's tough if you're in the receiving end. But he adds something to the game.
Yeah, he was on the bench for way too long. I love Soldier being loved for a little bit.
Exactly. No, it's great to see the return of certain heroes. So that was my best of the week, which is... Lots of slaughtering. Love that.
Also, fun fact, we saw Sojin get played today because talking about how good Soldier 76 is. Sojin got played for like 30 seconds, died, and then switched to Hangzhou.
Literally no one told me. I must have like blinked or like run out of the truck for a second because I thought I would be here for it and I wasn't. Well, now I'm sad. This is fantastic. Something which always will cheer me up is, of course, to see what matches are coming up next. So let's take a look at our schedule for next week because we're done for the week. We had a long one. Our next starting day is on Friday, not Thursday. And we're going to kick that one off with the Vancouver Titans and the Florida Mayhem afterwards. And I'm excited for this one. San Francisco Shock and the Houston Outlaws. Will this be the first real test for the San Francisco Shock squad? But also... will Houston Outlaws bring the way they looked in the first one or the second one? Are they already running out of steam? We'll find out. Atlanta Reign will go up against the Washington Justice. That's also a game I'm very excited about. Any favorites here? Which one?
As much as I want to see Houston Outlaws and where they truly stand, I want to see Atlanta Reign go up against a good opponent. It feels like they haven't really been tested yet, so it's hard to really gauge where they are right now. So, Washington Justice, they look good. Obviously, didn't get the win today against the Dallas Fuel, but those are two top-end teams going against each other.
Which one?
I mean, I have to go with San Francisco and Houston Outlaws, right? I mean, like you said, San Francisco shot true test of strength for them. Houston Outlaws, they looked okay today, but they weren't dominant as when they were playing against Dallas Fuel. So now they're in Dallas Fuel's shoes. You have to prove that that wasn't just a one-time thing.
I love that there is still a lot of teams which have something to prove. We had quite a bunch of teams which rocked our world in one single game and then absolutely went off the pedal and their second game, making it absolutely impossible for us to really know where any of them stands. But that means it stays exciting. So we are ready for next week, but first we need a few days off to recover from all the action. But we're just so thrilled to be back. Hopefully next week we're going to have Jonathan Reinforce Larson, our favorite colleague, I would say.
He's a good colleague.
He's
Hopefully.
a pretty good colleague. He's established himself as one of the top 3 colleagues.
Yeah.
But we'd be happy to have him back, of course. Wish him well as he's still out sick. Gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure to be back,
We're back.
with you.
We're back, baby.
We're back, that's right.
Woo.
And we have so many more match days to come. So all of you, I hope you enjoyed our first week of the 2022 season. We will be back again, of course, on Friday. And up until then, have a good time. And tune back in on Friday.
Happy birthday, Daddy!
Thank you. Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Happy Mother's Day!
Happy birthday!